It's a beautiful day on Housing TV Africa. Welcome to the show. I'm Joyce Nwosu, and as always, I have the princess or the queen.
Are you for real? So what kingdom are you going to put me in that?
It's always a pleasure to do this
Thank
with you.
you so much, Joyce. You look calm. You look well rested. I hope you enjoyed the other days.
Of course. Do I have a choice?
You don't have it.
Too?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well. Welcome to the Good Morning Africa show. As usual, we do this, to bring you all the updated informations and everything you need to know concerning housing and, any other trending issue that is on ground. Welcome to the show.
So today we have the privilege of doing justice to a topic that might interest you. We're talking home ownership and parenting practices. Thankfully, we have Dr. Atinuke Fashogbo doing justice to this topic. It was in the news recently, the story that happened in the US, the 13-year-old who murdered her cousin. I mean, over what? A phone.
Over a phone.
And it just got me thinking that, today's parenting, I wouldn't know if what we got, growing up, the training we got, if applied today would also produce the kind of results that, is expected. But it's just shocking. It got me thinking, while thankfully we have someone who probably will be shedding light on some of these questions. At what age is a child supposed to have a phone? I have a friend who has a 10-year-old, Nana, and in her class, they're about 20-something. She's the only one that doesn't have a phone. Every other child in that class has a smartphone. For crying out loud, why would you give a 10-year-old or an 11-year-old a smartphone? Even if you have to communicate, you can actually have a stone phone. That's a phone that is not on the internet. There's a lot going on.
There's
nowadays.
Really a lot.
So our condolences to the family of Demaria Hollingsworth. It's really sad, really, really sad.
Really, really sad. You asked a question, a very good question, that if, the home training that we had back in those days with our parents, if those home trainings are being instilled on this generation, on children, I think, I wouldn't say the world will be a better place. But of course, yes, the world will be a better place because we all make up, the people in a society. And I noticed that this day parenting is totally different from what we had. I knew what I had as a child growing up with my mother.
But today's parents used to be yesterday's child.
I'm telling you.
So what happened?
What happens? Now, the thing is, I always ask this question, and I'm yet to get the answer. Is it that during our time when we were being trained, we were not comfortable with it, and then, we grew up, we're not having our own kids, and we're not instilling that same upbringing, that same discipline that we got from our, knowing fully well that our lives are what they are today based on the discipline we had. So is it that we don't see our children, we don't want our children to enjoy, because I call it, it was a good training. Because I know there are certain things I will not catch myself doing.
Yes, because I remember there were times you could be pampered. Like I grew up with my grandmom. There were times you could be pampered, really pampering, soft touch pampering. And there were times you could actually receive the caning you actually needed. Course. So I really don't know why some parents are failing today. Yes, it didn't happen in Nigeria, but we also have cases
it's happening in Nigeria. Of course, yes,
where you have such issues. You have a 9-year-old, an 8-year-old, 4-year-old. I've heard stories, real-time stories. Some of these children already addicted to pornography and being introduced to some other things that you'll be wowed at.
I remember, really. I remembered growing up, my granddad will always make, a statement to us. He'll be like, at some point in your life, if you don't sit down and think that, are you sure this person that is with me is my mother, then you're not being trained well. That because it gets to a point you ask those questions based on, the kind of discipline you received, Well,
all right, so we'll go on a break. Don't forget our focus is home ownership and parenting practices. You really want to stay put. Let's take this short break on the I Can Make It segment. Stay with us. We'll be back.
you are welcome. This is Simon and Samantha saying you can make it. I love you and thank you for always tuning into this program. And I want to let you know that God has a plan for your life. And I tell you, life will not give you what you deserve. Life will give you what you demand. You can make it today. Well, I started, if you have been following us, I started a long time and we're talking about life can only be understood backward, but must be lived forward. And one of the things I was talking about, the things we need to learn, with things we need to learn. And if you learn them, apply them, you will get the best of life. It was Isaac Newton that said, if I have seen above, it by shining on the shoulder of them that have gone ahead of me. You learn every day. We learn from different things. So even spending time and you are looking at us on this broadcast tonight or today, you are learning. And I tell you something, we must just learn in life if we want to have the best of life. The next thing I will be sharing with you in this aspect of learning that we have taken upon ourselves to share with us, learn that is not, the one I want to talk about today is that learn that you should learn to depend upon your own life. Don't wish to be like other people. Life is not competition. Like I said, life is turn by turn. Just know that it will get to your turn. It doesn't matter what is happening. God will get to your turn. And there's a place that said it will overturn and overturn until you come to the one which right it is. It will overturn it. Now, another thing I want us to learn, you should learn to know, not to depend on other people. Always learn to be self-dependent. Many times a lot of disappointment come from where you put your trust in people. A lot of people have often complained, oh, you thought this one will do. You are always thinking that this one will do for you. No, you just learn to be self-sufficient. Learn to be dependent on yourself. Trust God with what you have. Yes, people can help you, but don't put your hope in humans. They that trust them, those that put their trust in men, will habit the pasture in the wilderness. They will not see when good cometh. So don't put your confidence in man. Believe men, but don't put your confidence in him. Because the people you actually trust can forget. They can actually forget you. I remember there's this young man many years ago that was interpreting dream, and he interpreted the dream of this man, and God helped the man, and the man was out of prison. But when the man had left, he forgot. Men will always forget. Men will forget. How many times God will set them up to also forget? Because you put your trust in man, you will get offended. They will forget. So it is also God that make them remember. So the best thing is to trust God. Believe man, trust God. Don't forget what I'm saying. Believe in man, but put your trust in God. If you put your trust in God, God is the only one that will not disappoint you. Always have to stand. Don't be, don't always stand, always have to stand on what you believe and just continue. And I tell you, you will not be disappointed. Learn to be content with what you have. Learn to be content with what you have. It is said that godliness with contentment is great gain. Learn to be content what you have. Contentment will make you get the best. Aspire for a greater thing, but be content with what you have. Be happy. Thank God for what you have. A lot of people today, they are not grateful because they are always looking at other people. Oh, this person have just done this. Oh, this person have just done this. But what about the things that God is doing with your life? Learn to be content. Learn to talk to yourself. Learn to thank God about what God has made available for you. Learn to appreciate him for the things that he has done in your life. Learn to appreciate him for the children you have. This same thing that you have that you are not happy about is what somebody is believing God for and trusting God for. For example, there are people today, they are not married, but you that are married, you don't have value for your marriage. There are people today, they are married, but they don't have children. But some have children, they neglect their children. You can see our children on our streets holding some plate and begging. Now, these are same people, they are paying huge amount of money for IVF so that they can have a child. Learn to appreciate what you have. But when you constantly look out and you are not appreciative of what you have, you will neglect. And at the end of the day, it will lead to regret. Learn to appreciate, be content with such as you have. Learn that everybody is equal. Don't wish to be like other people. God does not make mistake in creating you. Listen to me. Don't bother to begin to look like, want to be like this, you want to be like that. No, want to be all that God have made you to be. And as you do that, you will know that there's a plan of God concerning your life. You are unique. You are a special species. God have created you with all that he has. And I want to let you know, learn to appreciate you, that who God has made you to be. You are a man of value. And I want to tell you, learn that every action, there is an equal opportunity respond. Every action you take, there is an equal, response to it. So when you take action, always know that there is going to be a consequence. Learn not to worry much, because worry will not solve any problem. Worry does not solve any problem. You see, somebody that worry is like what faith is. When you have faith, you trust God and believe on. When you worry, you have disbelief and you can't move on. Worry make you sweat. Even when you are not running, you are just a rocket chair, you are not making any progress. So learn not to worry. Be careful for nothing. And one of the things that will make you not to worry is learn to think positively. There is a book I wrote some years ago, Living Positive in a Negative World. Every time around you see negative news, negative this, negative that, and everything that surrounds us sound negative. But I want to tell you something, don't worry. I let you know, worry cannot solve any problem. Worry cannot solve any problem. It is very important. So one of the way to avert worry is to think positively. And what I will advise you today is that learn to think well. Think positively. Think of what is good. Think of what is lovely. Think of what is of good report. Think on good things. Take good thought. Be deliberate about your thought. Don't dwell on the things that you don't have. Don't dwell on those things that push you down. Don't dwell on the things that make you have depression. It's this worry that make people and most of the things we worry about never come to pass. Most times it's the thing this worry that make people go into committing suicide. Worry that make people, you already form a picture, the enemy already give you a picture in your mind. Oh, people will shame you. This is what is going to happen. I remember a young girl that worry and kill herself just last month here. Why? Commit suicide because a lecturer will always fail her. I tell you something, those obstacles that the enemy has put on your way, they can become a stepping stone. I like this thing, the Bible verse that I always say, all things work together for good to them that love God and to them that are called according to his purpose. I want to let you know today, you can make it. Put worry aside. Worry does not help anybody. Worry will make you depressed. Worry will not bring out the best. Learn to put words into action. It's very important. Learn to put words into action, because a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. Learn. Don't stop worrying. Put your words, put action to your word. A lot of us, we take note, we hear, you are listening to me right now, you are hearing, you don't act on it. And until you act on it, you are like a man that doctor said, if you eat this food, you will not die. And they told you have just 3 minutes to live, or 5 or 10 minutes or 15 minutes to live. But they gave you food and said, eat this food now and you will not die. You say, oh, I believe that if I eat this food, I will not die. I tell you something, the food can be in your front. If you don't eat it within the time stipulated, you can die, even with everything to help you in front. That is how worry is. Let's cast away worry. Let's believe God and trust him for the best of our life. It doesn't matter the economic situation we find ourselves today. I tell you something, no matter the economy of the jungle, lion does not eat grass. I tell you, lion doesn't eat grass, and I want to tell you, you can make it, you can succeed. Always know the word impossibility is not part of God's plan. It doesn't matter. That word impossible is just impossible to you, but with God, all things are possible. Let's drop away worry today. And one last word I will want to tell you this day before I leave the studio is the worst prison in this, the word prison in this world is a home without peace. So as much as you can, live in peace with all men, with your wife, your husband, with your colleagues in your office. Live in peace. The worst prison in this world is a home or a place of work without peace. Be careful who you marry. Be careful who you marry. All fail, before you fall in love. All failed marriage start from not understanding how you will love to, dwell together with wisdom and knowledge. So be careful. The worst prison in this world is a place where there is no peace. I want to say we love you, and until I see you again in our next edition, this is Simon and Samantha saying, you can make it. God bless you. Thank you for being a part of this edition.
Welcome back from that quick break. If you're just joining us, this is the Good Morning Africa show on Housing TV Africa. Our guest just joined us in the studio in person of Dr. Fashogbon Atinuke. She's an accomplished educator and the driving force behind Star de la Ville International Schools, where they have transformed education by addressing the needs of both children and the broader educational system. Dr. Atinuke combines academic rigor with innovative approaches to learning.
Her leadership extends beyond the classroom into entrepreneurship, where she successfully manages valued-made enterprise and a team lead at Tyrell Holmes Consult. Thanks for being with us, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Okay, so we're looking at home ownership and parenting practices. Before you came on set, myself and Memuna, we actually took, I don't know, it was a nostalgic, journey back into our childhood days, whereby we know the kind of training we got. And sometimes when you look at parenting today, there's a difference between what used to happen then and now. Before we get into all of that, now your profile says you make impactful changes in education, empowering the next generation of leaders. Tell us a bit about that. Going by the fact that yesterday's parenting and today's parenting, that seems to be a kind of shift. Although for some parents, I know some people still, put their foot down to say, no, you won't have your way. It's my way or nothing.
Thank you very much. You see, untrained parents are the one training parent, they are the one training children now. You know, many parents, when we have different generations of parents. We have the Gen X, we have the Millennial, and we have the Gen Z. Now, these different parents from 1970 to 1975, 74 or 69, thereabout, to 1984-5, you will see that those children, even without any instruction, it's like we were robots in those years, because you dare not do some things. But these days, oh no, my child, all of these things, parents didn't know that is coming back to them. They were shooting themselves in the leg. And many parents that didn't train their children, especially the millennium parents, they didn't train their children. They did not. I have seen a lot. We are school owners, we see a lot. Don't touch my child. They can withdraw children because of that. And by the time the child will now give it back to them, they will now be wondering where it was coming from, forgetting that the Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. When we start building a child from the scratch like this, you will see that child have some characters. I always boast of this, and it's my pride. My children, they don't misbehave. My biological children and the children in my school, they don't misbehave. If any child comes into our midst and maybe that child says a foul language or says something, all of them will rush. Immediately is like a signal, like alarm, that everybody go to the muster point. It looks like that. Everybody will rush. So, auntie, this one said, the way they will say it, inside me, I will say, wow. These children, they know And if they see another child not wearing the same uniform or socks with them, they know it is wrong. And the hairdo, they know it is wrong. There are some things we do to make children. I use untaught lesson system, because untaught lesson sticks faster, but many people don't know. There is this will and strong hold of do as I do, not do as I say. I can practicalize that with you, telling you to touch part of your body, and if I miss a particular one deliberately, you will still follow me and do what I have done. If I say touch your chin is here, I may just touch my shoulder and say touch your chin or touch your eyes. You will touch this shoulder first before you realize that it was actually chin I mentioned. So that is how children operate. So it does not matter the year the children or the child is coming. What matters most is parents identifying their roles. What should I give this child at the formative years? What should this child know? Because by the time a child is formed, there is always difficulty in incorporating another idea or what. That is where you now see 13 years, 12 years misbehaving, and parents could not curtail it anymore. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that insightful one, Dr. Atinuke. Now, I would take out from, you know, the things you have mentioned. You explained the 3 types of parenting that we have these days, but it will interest you to know that some parents were brought up well, but at the end of the day, it comes to their own children and they miss it. What can you say went wrong?
What went wrong? A lot went wrong. You know, is prioritizing. I knew when I wanted to start having children, I made up my mind I was not going to work for 8 years. It was a target I gave myself, and God answered it. Why I said I was not going to work for 8 years? Because I had understanding. I have seen and I have experienced, because I've been into this system since 1996, and I got married 2004. So I have already seen that if a mother or father is not available for children, they will miss it. But many parents feel they can outsource parenting. So a lot of parents outsource the parenting, forgetting that it is their duty. Like a child that says, "Mommy, carry me." Maybe she's going to work in the morning. Obviously, that child needs to be carried. Oh, and the obvious thing too, the mother needs to go to work. She's late. But what she would have done, she would have gone to the child earlier before the child will ask for it. She would have gone to the child and asked the child, "Oh, my baby, how are you? I'll be going to work. I'll do this, I'll do that." Like Yoruba, let me not just bring vernacular here.
No, it's fine.
Say, nobody eats when you are filled. If a child had satisfaction of your attention, there is no how that child will be misbehaving. The misbehavior came out of maybe there was no attention. Let me destroy this thing so that I will call mommy's attention to it. Let me misbehave so that she will keep bothering herself. These children know what they are doing.
They do. No.
So you will see them, they will spoil something. You will call your attention to it. You will come there, you say, you have time to say that. Why didn't you tell that child not to do it? When you know you can prevent fire. So why are you buying a fire extinguisher? That's what children do for you. Thank you.
Okay, that's a good one. You said something really remarkable. Some people are outsourcing parenting. We'll come back to that. And then, you know, when you mentioned something about the mind of a child being formed, when the child's mind is formed, there's nothing you can do. You know, that comes to an illustration in my mind. Before you make a cement, you know, we're housing TV, so that actually could fit in. Before you make the cement, at that stage, you could actually, before it actually gets firm and when you cannot actually twist the shape again. Whatever form it takes, that's the form.
Whatever
There's
ingredient you want to
whatever
add.
you put into it and then it takes that form, it will be difficult for you to get another shape. You probably may have to destroy that particular
And
one.
build
We'll come
another
back
one.
to that. Now, since we're talking home ownership and parental practices, we'd like to find out, do the children of home owners perform better in school?
Well, I will say yes.
Really?
Yes, yes. I am a testimonial of that, because my father already built his house before we moved in, and it was very stable. I would say stability helps learning. Once a child is not moved from one place at you just be moving a child. Many parents don't know. Rolling stone gathers no
Of
most.
course.
So they don't have an idea. They have misunderstanding in this school. They take their child instead of them to think. What they are invariably teaching that child is you can quit. You don't have to struggle. They are teaching that child many life lessons, that don't worry, if anything is stressing you, just quit. Go to another one. Have you forgotten that there's problem everywhere?
Of course.
So you cannot run away from it. You just have to see what you can do to solve the problem. If you stay there, you are teaching your child problem-solving skills. And that child and thinking skills will increase. The child will think, what solution do I bring to this? And you increase the social value in the environment. You see, we played Suwe, we played police and thief, we played different games while we were growing, Tente, all of those things. We play catching, whatever, you know, and this will give us lifelong bonding. I know so many people that even in the US, we still meet, that we do not even remember our street again, but because we come together, we play sometimes in our compound, sometimes on the street, you know, all this play that these children of the today dare not. Parents follow them everywhere just to show.
And then because it's a digital world now,
Yes.
most of the games they play are
And it's more
online.
dangerous.
Yes,
It
very
is more dangerous.
More dangerous. Okay, so now this brings me to my next question. The family is a very necessary and sophisticated foundation in molding a child.
Okay.
And that is why we say that where you come from matters. What you do, you know, from that
Goes a long way.
It goes a long way. Now, for parents that are, you know, working class parents, I know it's a bit difficult, you know, to juggle between work and trying to, you know, have that attention for your children so that they become better people, mannered people, you know, mannered children. I beg your pardon. So now my question is, what happens when in a home the father is not supportive in raising up these children? All of the burden is on the woman. You know, she has work to do. She has these children to take care of. And then she has maybe other family things to also want to channel her energy to, you know. I always don't want to accept it, but I know most times we women are always at the receiving end because we have a whole lot of things to carry.
One thing I always tell parents, especially women, you are more than enough. We are wired to multitask. We are wired to multitask. I wake up like somebody going to work. The fact that I said I was not working, I was working, but I was self-employed. I was doing my own work so that I can have time for the children. While they have gone to school, I go to my shop. I did a lot of businesses, but I will go to my shop just to make sure I am always there. When they are doing open day, I am there. When they are doing color day, I am there. When they're doing anything, I am there. I see their teachers, I ask questions, I say everything. Their homework, we always do it on Saturday. As in homework that they give, plenty homework on Saturday, we trash it because Sunday we are going out. We are going for picnic, we are going for one thing or the other. So I had fun and I enjoyed parenthood with my children. So we say, and there was no day my husband ever say 1 + 1 is 2, come and put 3, come and put 4. And my husband is an engineer, a very talented and intelligent man, but doesn't have that time. He is not in school. He will say, you are the teacher, go and meet them. You know, so I kept doing it. I was doing it and it became a pleasure. and it's helping my school right now.
Okay. So I would like to know, tell us about some specific parental behaviors that could contribute to the positive outcome
Well,
of the child.
there are a lot of parental behavior, just like I mentioned earlier, that these children just want to see what you are doing. They want to see what you are doing. Sometimes you come back, if you want to test that, if you have a 2-year-old, you know, toddlers, they are very sensitive. They know, put your shoe in the wrong place, they will carry it and go and put it in the right place. That is to tell you, children already know. And my children, once we come like this, all of us will remove our shoes. They know that once they remove their shoe, they sit on the pavement at the corridor to remove their socks. They put it in the shoe. And they carry their shoe, take it upstairs. All of them.
So they know that that shoe you're bringing in.
So as they are coming from school, so it gave me an ample time to give my children some trainings that is giving me a big relief. I don't know when I went to the kitchen last. My daughters, everybody, if you like cook, if you like don't cook. But they will, no, they will do it. So I have a big relief. It is then I now knew that, I labored. But then I saw it as stress.
Of course.
It was stressful. I will tell you, I had headache then.
While we were, starting off the program today, we started off with a very, a very sad news of something that did not happen in Nigeria, but I bet you,
It could happen.
it could happen,
And
and
it
it's
might.
possible it has happened.
has
But it's just that maybe it's not out there for us to hear, And talking about the incident that happened in the U.S. with 8-year-old Di Maria that was murdered by her cousin because of an iPhone. Now, when is it an appreciative time to give a teenager a smartphone?
You give a teenager phone, they are teen. 13 is not even enough.
Good. I hope
13.
parents are...
13 is not enough. The only phone you can give a child, even from 2 years or 3 years, is this Nokia phone, not Android. Not Android or iPhone. Because parents just want to create that validation that they are rich, that I have it. Let them see it through my son. Let them see it through my child. Not knowing that they are causing hazardous effect on their children, because these children will access internet, and by the time they access internet, it is not filtered.
It's another story entirely.
They see a lot of things, It has damaged a lot of children. It is the one we are seeing that we are talking of. Even ordinary television has damaged a lot of children.
Course.
So parents should know when it is right. I have started giving my children phone. I keep mentioning my children because they were my specimen rats. So I gave them this, that time, Starcom.
Yes.
Just like CUG, so that when they are at home, I will call, hello, where are you? Because I don't want to carry them about and I want to monitor them. They were just too then. So, hello, where are you? In the house. Where's your sister? She's sleeping. Okay, I'm coming. Don't open the door. All of those things, like training them to be independent. And they were getting it. They started using phone actually at the age of maybe 11, 12, because maybe she did well. But I was sure, I was very sure that, no, I can go to bed.
That's a good one.
I can go to bed, because they themselves, my son said, I cannot be on Facebook. You people have spoiled it. Because I was opening something, I now sent a link just to laugh. He now said, I'm not on Facebook, Mommy. The 3 of them are not on Facebook. They don't like Facebook. They don't watch African Magic. They hear instruction. Because I do not expose them to that. That was why. So guidance, you don't just give the instruction. You guide. You guide these children. When you guide them, you will see that you will be relieved after some time.
Okay. But maybe, certainly, maybe in the nearest future, probably they could actually get tech savvy or be on Facebook, because don't listen, because somebody could be watching and say, are you now saying it's a crime to be on Facebook?
No, it's
Because
not.
we live in a world
They decided
where,
on their own.
You know,
It
it's a
wasn't
tech
me.
world now, so you
Yes.
also have to draw a thin line.
It's because of the materials that comes to their phone.
Okay,
They didn't like it.
But then we have a lot of adults too that are not on Facebook.
Facebook, certainly.
Yes.
We do.
But for me, if I have to keep my job, I have to be on Facebook.
I am always on Facebook too.
Okay, so it's the Good Morning Africa show. It's always a delight to know that we have you there watching. And you know, we will do our bit, we'll do our parts to ensure that we bring you accurate information. Today we're talking home ownership and parental practices, the right one that helps you raise up that boy or girl that you'll be proud of. We'll take a break. It's the Good Morning Africa show. Please stay with us. We'll be back.
My name is Mrs. Mary Akimbami. I'm a Chief Marketing Officer.
Welcome back to the show. It's the Good Morning Africa show reaching you from Hausa TV Africa. And we've been looking at home ownership and parental practices. Doing justice squarely to this topic has been with us Dr. Atinoke Fashogbon. Thank you so much, Ma,
Thank
for
you.
your time so far. Now, moving on, let's go back to our discussion. Every parent certainly wants properly trained children. I'd like to ask, what's the most important clue in parenting besides communication? I know you've actually stressed on that, you know, ensuring that they bridge the communication gap. What other things should, you know, parents look out for? Thankfully, kids are on summer break, so it's a good time to...
Parental behavior can make a significant change or thing in the life of any child. Once the parents, their role in shaping their child, it has to be deliberate parenting. You cannot leave your child at the mercy of so many things. You may have house help. All my life that I had house help did not clean up for my son. House help did not clean up for my girls. Those ones were not her responsibility. So we had our job description. My own is to care for my children, because that was why I stayed back. I was not working for anybody. It sounds funny, but people used to think, hey, you know, but I am enjoying it now very well. Very well. House girl don't come near what has to do with my children or my husband. Not even water to wash hand will she carry and give my husband. No. So I did it myself. I was involved. People come to the house to clean the house. That is different. They have not come to train my children. I can decide to be with my children upstairs. We'll be doing whatever we want to do. We play games, we go out, we do a lot of things. I show them things. If I'm cooking yam now, like I was cooking yam and the head, and I said, I remember osmosis. You know, I carved the inside of it, 2 pieces, the control and the experiment one. So I now put salt, and I said, we are coming back to check it in the evening. And actually, water came up. And I said, do you know what that yam is? That yam is the semi-permeable membrane. When she got to SS1, this was when she was in primary 5. When she got to SS1, that she had to define osmosis, that movement of liquid substance from lower to higher concentrated area through a semi-permeable membrane. The teacher, all of them got it wrong in that class, and all of them were now asking her, what did you do that you got it right? He said, my mommy taught me a long time.
So you stuck.
So it was stuck. So I was always engaging. The same thing my father did to me was what? Because he was a teacher. So he too, he would say, learn this, do this, do this. So parents should be involved. When I tell parents, maybe in parents meeting, they feel, we are working, it's laziness. It's laziness, because I know how many times that I feel fatigued and I will still, there was board in my kitchen. Their table and chair was in the kitchen and there was board at the back of the kitchen door. So if I'm in the kitchen, you have to be in the kitchen. So do your homework. If I'm in the parlor, there is board, another board. If I'm in the shop, there's another board in the, and in my room at the back of my, because my husband said, don't come and dirty my room with your board everywhere. So I put it at the back of the door. So when you open the door, you will not see it. But when the door is closed, you will see it. So they have chairs. They have their small table and small chair.
So for the working parent, 8 to 5 or 9 to 5.
Wow, yeah, exactly. I'm trying to see how they can be able to manage this.
They chose right what they feel they can do. But I keep telling people that there are a lot of jobs a woman can do. It's not about the money. I got offer for Zane, but I wanted to go. That was when, I was feeling, I don't want to stay in the house again. So my husband just challenged me and said, but you said you are going to wait for 8 years for your children. So he now reminded me, said, who will check them when they come back from school? And he knows I like that. I want to see, have you played rough? To ask, oh, you didn't play at all, what happened to you?
Because you must play.
Because I have to see how you look, how I dropped you, and how you look when I'm picking you. Check your food fly, did you eat? But if I am not there, I wouldn't know.
Wow, interesting. So now let's come to peer pressure, which is one thing in the society that is there to always mislead these children. So is peer pressure a greater influence than parental guidance?
Yes. Children obey code and conduct of their peer pressure, of their peer group. They obey code and conduct. They keep secrets to the maximum. They keep secrets if they don't want to let you in, but it now depends on how you handled your child. How you handled your child depends on whether your child tells you or whether it doesn't tell you. If you are very far from your children, then you have outsourced your parenting to the peer pressure, because they will teach him or her what to do. There are some maybe confidential matters that the child may want to discuss with you, that despite everything, and that child would not feel comfortable until he sees the mom's face or sees the father's face. When you see your mother, you feel free, you tell. That is the same way peer pressure too works. So if you have bought your child with love and attention, that child cannot fall victim of peer pressure. But a lot of parents, take your iPad, take your iPad. That is passive. Passive learning or passive play. You think your child is playing, is not.
No.
Is not active. The child, but what did you learn there? Okay, when you finish doing the meter, I want to do. Things that we play games together. That's why I said I enjoy parenthood though. I enjoyed parenthood. We'll sew the same clothes and we'll take pictures. I'll be sending. A lot of things we teach them that peer pressure cannot influence my children.
That's a very good one.
Okay, so I heard from a school owner, she had to even close down her school. Why? That the FCT may soon clamp down on schools outside purpose-built structures. So I'd like to ask, can a neighborhood environment predict?
I've not heard that, but it could be. But one thing I always say, before you tell the villagers not to drink river water, you must have provided borehole. But without providing a borehole or another alternative, you told them to stop the river water, then it can't work. What preparation is the government putting in place? Is government bringing in more public school? Ordinarily, I would have even loved to see that government bring in more public schools, and not just to bring the structure. It's not about the structure. It's not about the container. The structure is just the container. What about the content? What are you serving the children there?
Very important.
What are you serving the children there? So it does not matter outside the school purposes, they may be doing better than those who have, because these days, if people just have money, oh, what business can I do? Go and open a church and start a school. That's what they will say, because they feel, count how many people, okay, this one 500, okay, this one. So government must have put some measures in place before clamping down. Else, they are going to breed hoodlums. The reason why I say that, because they will compel so many children to some public schools where you will be having 200, 250 in a class. That is what it will mean, because when they cannot afford private school that are left, that are built purpose, that are purpose built. So managing the crowd, and they may not be able to afford that school fees.
Okay, because I think maybe they probably believe that neighborhood environments could probably predict a child's educational development. Maybe that's
How?
why.
It has nothing to do with a child's educational development. It depends on how that child is guided.
Like you said, play is part of learning.
Of course,
Play
is part of learning.
It's not part of learning.
So if a school's structure
Play is a way to learn, because a
Right.
child discovers, they become inquisitive, they are discovery, they obey code and conduct during the play. Like if you miss it, you will not join them. You will not want to miss it. So they learn skills of life during play. So you cannot leave play out of it.
That's why those schools should have enough playgrounds for the children. You know,
It depends on how they improvise. My school is very small, and the kind of play is an active play my children do. I have Ludo on the ground.
Oh, okay.
Now, you know, children, when they play, during play, by the time they are sleeping, they start daydreaming.
They say almost
everything.
Yes.
So as they are doing, a parent once challenged us. He said, do you teach them in the dream? Because back, they will run about, they will do this one, they will throw it around. So there are strategic ways of doing it.
Yes.
So it's not about the large space. There are larger spaces that are not useful, that are not being used.
I know we're very close to rounding up, or if not even rounding up. So I would love to find out from Dr. Atinuke, what are today's parents getting right? And that is, in some areas, what are they getting right? In some areas, what are they lacking? So they get to know that, okay, I think I'm not doing this thing right. I need to, have a rethink and do things properly as a parent.
Well, I would say education is expensive to many parents, many ignorant parents, but ignorance is cheaper to them. But for the ones that are well educated, they understood what education is. They are ready to pay anything for their child to be educated. You will see some parents, they will say, is it not they skip class for their children? They skip. They withdraw their children, they do whatever. I will just be looking at them like this, that's sorry for you.
You don't
Because they do not, so it's ignorance. Many parents are ignorant. And like I said earlier, once they have conflict, they withdraw their child. Pulling out a child goes to another environment. It takes time to settle in. It takes time to, and did that child tell you he wants to change? I thank God, and I love two of my children. The parents changed their school. The children told the mother, Mommy, we didn't tell you to change our school. They didn't go to that school, oh. Mommy, we never told you we wanted to change our school. We like Stade de la Ville. And those children came back. So she now said, now you know what, you don't give your children. I was not in the know of this, but I later got to understand. And the children too told me, they said, don't mind our mommy. We didn't tell her to change our school, and she now changed our school. I don't know whether she got her money back. It's not my business, but the children said they were not going back. So, children you must carry them along. We treat them like objects. That is where we are missing it. Hello, my dear, please, we'll be having meeting tonight. Even in the classroom, we'll tell them that is our own strategy. We'll say there's going to be family meeting this afternoon. You know, once the children hear family meeting, their ears are itching and they want to know what. So in the family meeting, what do we discuss? We may likely discuss who makes us to drag behind, who makes us to do this. They'll be mentioning names. You know, by so doing, you are helping their thinking skills and judging skills. So they will not have to be partial in some things. And we don't do favorism. The children will see it. We tell them, we lecture them that if a teacher is liking one more than the other, it's called favorism. Report any favorism. Say no to favorism. You know, they already understood. So they are independent. They can talk. They can say what confidently. They are so bold.
Okay, many thanks for your time. We've been talking home ownership and parental practices. Now, before you go, finally, how do you connect to childhood?
To childhood, nostalgic.
I like that.
I play music.
Oh, that's
you know, the music we like all these oldies, 1980s, 1970s, 1990s, early 90s music, hip hop, and all of that. So once my children, when they are singing their own, I'll say this one is not sweet. Come and hear my own. You know, like that. I actually love that through music, and art.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you so much for coming
on
the show today. It was such a pleasure, and we really learned a lot from you. I wanted to just make a very little comment while you were talking. I was like, you men out there, get yourself a teacher as a wife.
No, the real men marry teachers.
Oh, really?
Do they?
Yes.
They do.
My husband is a real man.
Yes,
so
of course,
he came
yes.
after a teacher.
That's a good one. That's a very, very good one. Thank you so much, Dr.
Atinoke Fashogo. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
We hope we'll have you some other time on the show. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's how we conclude our chat on home ownership and parental practices. How do you connect to childhood?
Ooh, nostalgia.
Oh,
she
really?
just said so. I love music a lot. So what I do is I go way back. Luckily for me, I'm from a family that were music lovers, so I just play music. I speak with my siblings about how growing up, how my mom used to deal with her. In her presence, she'll just be looking at her. She's like, so if I never did all of that, will you guys still be the way you are today? So that's how I connect to. How about you?
Well, maybe sometimes I go through my pictures, baby pictures.
Oh, you still do have them?
And then, of course, do Shadia Adu. The hairstyle that gives you that baby face look.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's it. Thanks for watching. I've been Joyce also.
I'm Imena Bagudu. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Housing TV Africa, your first in housing news. When the city is getting too loud, you need a home. Home is love, peace, and tranquility. Home is Housing TV Africa. Housing TV Africa, your first in housing news.
If you want to get credible and authentic news on real estate and housing development in Africa, or you need that educative platform on how you can own a home through mortgage, look no further. We've got you covered. Subscribe to our YouTube channel on Housing TV Africa, where we bring you latest news on real estate, affordable housing, mortgage and building technologies and materials. Visit Housing TV Africa on YouTube. Subscribe now and get